Love, peace, and light. Christina Ariel here. Let's try this one more time. This will be the third take. Okay. I was trying to record this right after waking up. The information that I'm trying to give. Let me just tell this story. As a child, um, I used to do what's called the storm dance or the rain dance. Now, many different tribes do it many different ways, and they call it many different things. Now, my grandmother used to be worried about this situation because she thought she's going to catch pneumonia, or this is going to happen, or that's going to happen. But my father and my grandfather knew and understood. They were just excited about it because they thought, it's been a long time since a child's come through with these natural abilities of knowing what to do without being told what to do. So just let her do what she does. So basically, I was told a story as a child by my grandfather. And the story went something like this. Now, I might be paraphrasing a little bit because I don't want to tell intricate details of my personal business per se, my personal relationship with my family per se. Now, excuse me, sorry. So, the story goes something like this. In the beginning, the Creator created people or beings that He put on this earth that were half gods and half man, or daemon, as some would call them. Now, these people they are tapped into both realms or both worlds. They travel the bridge between the two. So they are able to feel when in this plane, the 3D plane, quote unquote, or the 5D plane, when the people are overwhelmed emotionally, physically, mentally, whatever, what have you, by the goings on that plane. So it said that when the emotions overflow so greatly, these people do a rain dance or a storm dance. Now, during the storm dance, there's a communication between the people with the trapped emotions or the people with the collected emotions. There's like a conversation, a spiritual, physical, mental conversation between the Most High and the soul people. Okay? So, and basically what they're doing is they're communicating to the Most High what's going on in this plane or on this plane. So, it would kind of be, if I was trying to explain it for those of you who are Star Trek fans like me, it would be something like the Vulcan mind meld. So it would be them giving their emotions, feelings, and thoughts on what is happening on this plane, communicating that. Now, usually during this dance or this, it's usually done by, when I used to do it, I would speak a certain type of language, and it would be native tongue, usually, and then, or spiritual tongue, and then it's almost like a performance, but it's not done for the masses. So my father used to go out and perform this dance with me, and he was there mostly for, he would watch me, and he would just make sure nothing was happening or nothing would hurt me. And there'd be times where then after I would do this dance or whatever, and usually it's by the time I'm finished or exhausted, the ring has stopped. And I just kind of collapsed in my father's arms. And he would take me home. They would give me a bath or a shower, dry me off, dry my hair, and then cook for me. And usually my grandmother would either rock me or they would sing to me or read to me, and I would just pass out. I would just simply go to sleep, and that's what it would be. Now, during this dance, there's also penance given, or you apologize for yourself and your tribe. You apologize for any of the deadly sins, or so-called deadly sins, but they're called something else. They're not called deadly sins. They're just the acts or the grievances caused upon humanity that humanity does to one another. And these would be lust, gluttony, greed, sloth, wrath, envy, and pride. Now, there's also 7 virtues, 7 cardinal virtues. Those would be chastity, temperance, charity, diligence, patience, kindness, humility, and self-control. Now, these are also said to be the building blocks of the God body, and how to protect and grow that spirit of fire that was breathed into each one of us to give us life. Now, you take this for what you take it for, but it is said when these people would dance, they basically, it's like a, usually performed or done by shaman, and these people are allowed and able to bridge between what you call the material world and the spirit world. And they go between these 2 realms and they communicate. Sometimes on purpose, sometimes by accident. Now, usually these things are done at night when you're sleeping. In 2019 for me, it happened in real time. And I was spending time with my children. And all I can call it is phasing, or it's like I phased out of this realm into the spirit realm. Only I could perceive the bridge in my psyche, but I couldn't see the bridge, if that makes sense. Now, my child witnessed this happen, and she said you had your hand reached out like you were trying to communicate something, or like you were pointing in a direction. And she said, I just watched you and I was kind of like, I don't know what to call it. I was just like, she's like, I wasn't embarrassed and I wasn't mad at you. I was just like, she's like, I can't even describe how I felt, but I felt protected. So, this brought back in the start of me going back between both realms and receiving messages again and being open to my ancestors. Now, apparently everybody doesn't get this. I just always thought everybody got this. I just know that as a child, we used to have these things with the elders called the gatherings. Now, the gatherings were usually done like what most people would probably call a field day now. We'd have sack races. It was fun. It was like you spent time with your elders, which was like spending time with your grandparents, right? It's only your grandparents stem the whole tribe. And you would have people that would come from all over the country, and we'd pick a central spot to meet up And we'd have all these games, face painting, singing, and the elders would take time and they would tell us stories, and which generally help with life. And they would tell us stories about nature and how nature and people interacted, and experiences of good nature interactions and experiences of bad nature interactions, all the while teaching us about ourselves and where we come from and how to combat different things in life and how to be able to handle life. Now, according to my grandfather, children born being able to use their cognitive skills, like their spiritual skills, their what do you call them now? Clairs. They were a special children, but in this realm, they're looked at as mentally deficient. But however, in these places that they generally wanted to send children and people like that, they also harvested their energy. Now, for me, it's a kind of touchy subject because from what I would hear as a child was that all the children there were meant to go on and be leaders for their tribes, their various tribes. Now, a leader to me means something way different than it means for everyone else. To me, a leader teaches a person their sovereignty. And when you teach a person their sovereignty, you teach them about their own personal power and how important it is to the tribe for each and every tribe member to remember their personal power. Once we get weak, we let these so-called seven deadly sins in. This is the breakdown of the foundation of the tribe. This is where we have the problems that we have. This is where we have the jealousy and people being greedy and not wanting to share, people being lazy and people being angry and envious and prideful. This is what causes the breakdown of society. Look around you. Don't take my word for it. Now, by the time I came around and I was born in my family, I was the first girl in a long time, and I was also the first psychically aware to that degree. And my grandfather was excited because he was alive to see it, and it had been prophesied many years before that it would happen. So he was waiting and ready for me. And from what he tells me, every child is prophesied and awaited for it in some way or another. Now, for me, being under his tutelage and watching him make tinctures, I'm having a hard time with that word, tinctures and oils and different medications for the different people that he was over and that he guardianed over. He took it seriously. And he used to tell me, parents do the same thing. So you think of me as a parent of the tribe. So a chief is a parent of the tribe. And I think in today's time, with a lot of people stepping up saying, I'm a chief this, I'm a chief that, you have to understand the seriousness of what you're taking on. That means you're guarding and you're guiding these people. So at the same time, you have to take time for the people and do good things for the people. You also have to heal and take care of yourself. It's very important. when they broke down our tribes, they weakened us. They weakened us. And they did it because a lot of us didn't understand the fullness of what we were here to do. So it's not so much about being this big thing or having this position, because to me titles no longer matter. I have seen so-called peons become chiefs. I have seen the opposite. I have seen women take on these roles and do it well. So I have always been cognizant of what I do, because I have always been told, you are a reflection of the people that came before you. We are trying to show you how to be a better person than we were. So even though you're chiefs, even though our chiefs are chiefs, they have their own life going on, their own spiritual journey going on. So it used to be that we loved one another. And even if we had to pull a coattail privately and say, listen, blah, 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 right? Get that together, pull it in tight. I'm here for you. I love you. We need you. We're counting on you two to make it. Put our hands one in another, and we create that ring of fire, that impenetratable wall that keeps you safe from the outside world, that helps you make it. That ability to look at another tribal member and know that they're going to have your back. They're not going to stab you in your back. They're going to have your back. And if one tribal member should fall, the rest come up behind them to pick up the slack until they can make it on their journey on their own. Not necessarily on their own, but standing up on their own, if you understand me. Now, after you have these dances, or these dances were performed, usually the dancers, and whether they're calling out, and it sounds like screaming to the Most High, but if you think about a really hard a really hard rainfall, you kind of have to scream to be heard. Now, emotionally and physically and mentally, you give everything to that dance, because you're letting go of all that physical gunk that you're feeling from all the people. And so after this dance, you're tired, and there is usually someone there to watch over you, or to make sure you make it back okay and you're taken care of. So I said that to say, for every position that's played, it matters. Every position matters. Let's take this seriously. And also let's take time to decompress and breathe. Christina Ariel signing off. Namaste.